Hello, everybody. I have two kitties being absolute tiny terrors tonight. So, hello, Spider-Man. Hello, Nana Laura. I thought of you when I wrote that one. Just like, you gotta meet the guy. You gotta meet the guy. He comes in a pretty blue smock. Hello, Eileenie Carlin. Hello, Jerry Matthew Boyd, sweetie. Thank you for coming to the premiere earlier. I'm sorry that it wasn't very long. I did. Yeah. He's gone. Well, his stuff's all still here, but he was supposed to work today and he did not show back up for his work clothes or anything like that. But the first thing he said to me when I told him that he needed to find somewhere else, um, the first thing he said was, "Thanks for making me have to quit my job." Okay, bro. Um, so yeah, I he doesn't keep any job long, so it's just probably an excuse to not work anymore. But you know what? He's somebody else's problem now. God help her. Yes, 100%. Yes. It's been a trying day though. Even a bad breakup is still a breakup, and it's not even the failing of the relationship that bothers me. It's the feeling like I got duped. I got duped by a dope. Hello, Buzzy Pug. Good to see you, love. He wasn't. He wasn't at all. He was making things so much worse, both, mentally, emotionally, physically, like all aspects of it. Everything was harder with him around. So I'm just glad he's gone. You know, he needed to go. He long overstayed his welcome again. And I won't forget it next time he calls from a park bench in the middle of the night. I hate it for me too, honey. But you know what? I'm going to get through it with a smile on my face, because you're not given a good life or a bad life. You're only given a life. And whether it's good or bad is up to you. So I'm going to choose happiness, and I'm going to choose prosperity, and I'm going to choose to get him out. No, never. Never again. Never. You do. Yep. Absolutely. We are all aware of it. You outrank Ava. And that's saying something. Hello, Manuel, honey. I love you, Mama. I went into the archive drive today. Yeah, I miss Judge Norbeck. I don't know if he's ever coming back. I don't know if it was something, if like there was an election and he didn't get elected. I don't know what the deal is, but I miss him. And I love Judge Norbeck. So I threw a ton of his stuff, about 15 hours of his stuff, into my editor, and I went through, I didn't even get through half of it. I went through lots. And I pulled out the best of what I could get to. Heck, if I had another 6 hours, we'd have probably 6 hours of him. Hello, Army Brad 1964, honey. I know. He can tell me all day long that nobody loves me but him. And nobody's here for me but him. And you know how I'm going to spend the rest of my life alone and miserable. He can tell me that all day long. Don't mean I have to believe it. And he used to say it all the time. All the time. Every time he felt like he was, like his position in this house was threatened, it would turn into how, you know, oh, even your own daughter left you. Yeah, she went to college, fool. Exactly. Nothing can take my Ava. Ava's by my side. You will when you see him, honey. You've seen him lots. Yes, I know. Golly, look at that. Look at that. They're telling me to give you treats. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's something, all right. And I'm assuming you have them tonight. I was perfectly fine alone till he came along. I really was. Like, you know, I didn't ask for him to come back. I was good. He was the one that wasn't. That's the thing. That's what he doesn't realize. Like, I don't need him. But he can't say the same. Ooh, M&Ms. I guess you're taking your sweet time on that one, man. I'm over here jiggly wiggling this one, and you didn't even notice. You were so busy. You were so busy. There you go. Oh, I understand that, love. And you know what? If it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. That's the thing. We can't force it. It'd be like Manuel and force a fart and end up with a shirt. How's those taste, honey? Oh my gosh, my daughter has an entire box of those on the counter in the kitchen. I look at them every time I walk past that threshold. All right, guys. We haven't seen him for a minute, so let's jump into Judge Norbeck. Yeah, I agree.
What is your name? Oh, you're Mr. Victor Bland.
Some days.
Yes, sir. You're coming in as Victor's Tab SN Ultra. I'm going to rename you, sir.
I'm not even smart enough to tell you the truth on this tablet to rename myself, but I'm sure there's an ability to do so.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Hey, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. Is your client with you?
He's
no,
not.
He's in the waiting room. Yeah,
there's a guy named Chipman. Yeah, it's a guy named Chipman.
Yep, I'm gonna put you back in waiting room. When we
Yes,
get
ma'am.
ready to go, I'll bring you in, okay?
Thank you.
What are you eating?
Oh, gum. I'm sitting in a courtroom in Benton Harbor right now, waiting for another hearing. But
Oh, yeah?
yeah, I can get rid of the gum if it's going to bother
No,
Danny.
no, that's fine. No, I just was hoping you were eating something really good.
I wish I was too.
Okay. So anyways, I'm gonna put you back in waiting room, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Here you say Mr. Bland is here. Yes, he is. Mr. Bland, who are you here for?
Mr. Chipman, sir.
All right. I'm waiting for an audio or two to get up so we can get Mr. Chipman going.
Thank you.
File 243664ST. I'm going to read it to you. It says on or about September 12th of this year on US 131 there in Layton Township. This is for driving while license suspended. You have appearance, I think I saw. Yes, I do. Here for counsel, Mr. Bland. What do you wish? What's your pleasure on this misdemeanor?
First off, I'd like to enter a plea of not guilty and ask that it be set for pretrial.
It'll be a $300 PR bond. So don't drive unless you have a valid driver's license. But other than that, you are all set. You will get no notice in courtroom A in front of Judge Scotchless. That pretrial date will get sent out to you with new Zoom instructions. We're all set for what we need to do here today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too. Good afternoon. Your name?
My name is Luke Pena, P-E-N-A.
Mr. Pena, this is a felony file 243949FY. I'm going to read it to you.
Good afternoon. Darius here, appearing on behalf of Mr. Pena for the purpose of arraignment. We'll review that file we believe reading. We're asking it a separate probable cause and prelim. He was screened for a court-appointed attorney, and that has been granted.
All right. So, sir, you will have the public defender as your attorney in this matter. Do you wish to argue bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. And speaking with him, he fully understands the no contact order in regards to count 2, as well as the fact that he would need a secondary place to reside. And speaking with him, he does have that and would be able to go there. He just needs to verify the address. It would be his grandmother. We'd ask the court to consider PR in this matter.
Where is that?
It's up Clyde Park, like 34th Street, Clyde Park.
And you've already talked to
I don't-
them about staying there.
I've stayed there in the past, whenever me and my dad had our problems. My nana will always accept me.
All right. I am going to change this to a $1,000 PR bond, so you will be getting out. But so you're clear, this is a protective condition bond, meaning you cannot have any contact, direct or indirect, with him. You can't go
With my
where
dad?
yeah. Do you have any?
Okay.
You know.
I mean, yeah.
You cannot go where he lives or where he works. You cannot consume alcohol or any other controlled substances. You cannot possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You cannot leave state of Michigan without permission from the court. You understand and agree to those rules?
No drugs, no guns, no leaving.
No contact.
No contact. Yeah.
All right. You already have a probable cause conference scheduled on October 17th and a preliminary hearing scheduled on October 23rd. That is a preliminary hearing in courtroom A in front of Judge Scotchless. You will get copies of those dates and times. You must show up for those dates and times. But you're all set today.
I have a question. So I get to leave today. I have to pay $1,000, but that's on the 17th.
You do not have to pay the $1,000 because it's a personal recognizance bond. In other words, we're trusting you that you're going to keep coming back to court. They will hand you copies of those 2 dates I read before you leave jail. But yes, you need to make sure you're present both of those dates.
Very good.
All right.
So I can, thank you for your time.
William Westcott.
Mr. Westcott, you're here on a felony file, 243798FD. I'm going to read it to you.
Yes, sir.
This says that on or about July 26th of this year, in Monterey Township here in Allegan County, you were operating a vehicle upon 32nd Street, having an alcohol content 0.08 or higher. And by operation of that vehicle, it did cause serious impairment of a bodily function to one George Westcott Jr. That is OWI causing serious injury, punishable by up to 5 years and or $1,000 to $5,000. Count 2 is a misdemeanor that you were the driver of a dark-colored Dodge Durango. You knew or had reason to know you'd been involved in an accident on 32nd Street and did fail to immediately report that accident. And that accident resulted in injury to George Robert Westcott Jr. That is failure to stop at personal injury accident scene, misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year and or $1,000.
What a crap human. How do you injure someone in an accident and just leave them? Like, I don't get it. But I'm going to let you know right now, it gets worse.
You understand those charges I read to you?
Yes, sir. Sir, if I could please say something to you, do you have, I know I'm in trouble.
Sure,
I
but you
mean,
probably should not talk about your case.
Okay, I'm
Alright.
sorry.
All right. It's my understanding that you do qualify for a public defender, and public defender will be representing you in this matter for the rest of this case. Your bond's going to be set in the amount of $20,000 as cash or surety. That's no drugs, no alcohol, no marijuana, no driving without a valid driver's license. Next court dates, you have a probable cause conference on October 10th, and you have a preliminary hearing on October 15th. That is in courtroom A. However, it will be Judge Belargin who's handling your preliminary hearing. You will get copies of those dates and times. You must show up for those dates and times. Still incarcerated, corrections will make you available. Yes, sir.
So you said PR bond?
No, sir. $20,000 cash surety. You also
Sir,
have a
I've already
probation
been-
violation coming, so you weren't going to be getting out of jail anyway.
Oh, but hey, I've already been arraigned on this. How is this? How is this? Oh, no, sir, something's messed up here. I've already been
Sir,
arraigned on this.
Listen to me. When you were arraigned, it was a misdemeanor. That's why you had a $500 PR bond. It was then upgraded to a felony based upon the injuries. Now you have a new bond because it is a felony case now and not a misdemeanor case. So it is a new arraignment because it's new charges.
So you said $20,000.
Cash or surety, yep. And then whatever you have
So what
on
does
your
that
PV,
mean?
also you'd have to bond out on that too as well. But you're all set for today's date.
So what about my charge for last night?
I don't know what that is, sir. It's not in front of me.
What
So
is
maybe you
going
will
on?
have new charges. I don't know.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Over here. Perez bonded, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
How you guys doing?
Good afternoon. Your name?
William Westcott, sir.
Mr. Westcott, I think this is maybe what you were referring to when you said, did you have a whole nother case? This is a different
Yes, I do remember
matter.
that.
Okay, this is a different matter than what we were talking about yesterday. File 243939FY. I'm going to read it.
Good afternoon, Darius here, appearing on behalf of Mr. Westcott for the purpose of arraignment. We have reviewed the file with waiver reading. We're asking to set probable cause and prelim. He was screened for a court-appointed attorney, and that has been granted. Given that he is being held on a $20,000 bond on the other file, we'd ask the court to consider a lower cash or surety for the potential that he would be able to bond out for a treatment program in the near future.
Thank you.
I think $3,000 cash surety on this is an appropriate bond. It's the $20,000 you may want to ask next time that's up to have that reduced. But you're already out on bond when this occurred for very similar offenses. And even though you caught those in July, you were already on probation for the same sort of offense November last year.
Yes.
So
Okay, so same offense November, same offense July, and then this hearing. Oh my gosh, guy, get a grip. Like, I don't know how seriously injured his victim was, but he's facing felony charges for it. I think it's time he stops drinking and driving. Possibly, just stop drinking and stop driving.
No drugs, no alcohol, no marijuana, no driving without a valid driver's license. You already have, the public defender represents you for the remainder of this case. You already have next court dates here. I don't know if these are the same ones I gave you yesterday, but it's 10/17 for probable cause conference and 10/23 for preliminary hearing. That's in courtroom A in front of Judge Scotchless. You will get copies of those dates and times. You must show up for those dates and times.
I do have one question, sir.
Uh-huh.
I have one question.
Okay.
With that $20,000 cash surety, can that be lowered at my next court date?
Exactly. Every time you're up in front of judges, you can ask to have your bond reconsidered. So that whatever that next court date was for that case, that's when you and your attorney would ask to revisit that 20,000.
I just think it's just time for me to go to rehab, guys. I mean, I've got all these charges up in 1 year. It's just, I gotta do something about it.
I don't want to talk about your cases. But you're all set
Thank
for
you, sir.
Jay. Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, this is a citation that was issued on August 31st of this year on M40 near in Valley Township.
This is probably the most annoying girl of the night.
It's a speeding citation on an actual 75 and a 55. However, it was only written as a 1 to 5 over. Miss Rock, you are here on this 1 to 5 over speeding citation to do one of three things. First is you could admit responsibility to the citation, or 2, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation as to how or why this happened. Or 3, you wish to contest this citation. In other words, fight the ticket at what we call informal hearing. What were you looking to do?
Contest the ticket.
All right. And then I would go ahead and ask you and Trooper to go ahead and raise your right hands. Swear or affirm any testimony you give here today would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes. Yes.
And so, Ms. Rock, it makes a lot more sense for me to start with the Trooper. He has the burden to establish to me why you were issued a citation in the first place. But then after that, you'll be able to either ask questions or testify in your own behalf. And with that, Trooper, you want to pick up the narrative somewhere where it makes sense, explain the issuing of this citation.
Okay. On August 31st, and I might have to turn my speaker down a little. Here we go. August 31st of this year, I was on duty in a fully marked patrol car in uniform. I was using a radar that's been approved for the use in the state of Michigan, and it's a radar that I'm trained to use, and it passed all its tests at the beginning and the end of my shift. I was on patrol at approximately 7:37 a.m. on M40 going northwestbound, just prior to Allegan Dam Road. Ahead of me, the road comes up to a hill and then dips back down. So there was a crest, maybe a quarter mile at the most. In the opposite direction, I saw the target vehicle come over that crest, appeared to be exceeding the posted speed limit of 55, activated my radar, obtained a very brief tracking history of 75 miles an hour. It was the only target vehicle. It was the only visible vehicle in sight in front of me. There were no obstructions between my radar antenna and the target vehicle. The patrol speed on the radar matched the patrol speed on my speedometer, and the tone, the audio tone from the radar was consistent with the vehicle traveling 70 miles an hour plus. Effected a traffic stop for that speeding violation, identified the driver as Ms. Lauren Rock. No admissions or comments from her about the speed. Subsequently issued her a 5 over speeding citation, 60 and a 55.
Okay, and Ms. Rock, what is it you wish to tell me?
So on that day that the speeding citation was issued, I was a very alert driver. I had two hands on the wheel. My phone was, I have a magnet thing that's on my dash, and so my phone was up there. It was playing an audiobook. My eyes were on the road, and I was adhering and paying attention to all of the speed limit signs that were on every road that I went down. I was heading to my sister's house, and we have business together. I was not in a rush. I was on time, and I was driving on that road, and I do not believe that I was violating any speed limits.
Okay, that's a lot of information. How fast do you think you were going?
Between 53 and 55.
Okay. In listening to this evidence, I doubt that a lot. All right. It's not like you're being accused of going, you only have a ticket for 1 to 5 over, but let me just reiterate what the trooper has said, right? The trooper said he visually saw your vehicle and he thinks it's going faster than 55. Now, we don't let him guess your speed because he's a human being and human beings could make mistakes, but road patrol officers are probably pretty good at assessing speed, right? So he knows that, hey, this car's moving faster than the speed limit. So then what he does is use his radar, right? It tones out, well, I'll get to that later, but it gets you at 75 and a 55. So a lot different than what you're saying, right? You agree. You're saying you're going 53 to 55. The radar saying you're going 75. That's not even close, right? So how do we determine, you know, what that speed, that 75 is accurate? Well, first of all, that radar, like the trooper said, and I'm going to really drag this out. He tests that at the beginning and end of his shift. What he means by that, I'll just put a little more meat on the bone for you, is he has a separately calibrated speedometer in his patrol car, right? So that is separately calibrated to be an accurate speedometer. When he runs his check at the beginning of his shift with that radar, it has to match his separately calibrated speedometer. That's how it does a self-check to know that it's in working order that day. And then he might write tickets all day, but he also has to self-check that radar at the end of his shift, like he said he did, that it was also accurately working that day, right? So we have a human being who says, I do this for a living and I think this car is moving a lot faster than 55. Then we have a radar that's in proper working order that has you at 75 miles an hour. That radar is tested against a separately calibrated speedometer and was found to be in working order before and after his shift. And it also toned out. In other words, it makes a noise. And he knows what that noise is supposed to sound like. If he's getting a number above 70, like 75, that tone has to match. And he testified that it did. So that's all the evidence that you're going 75. You're here telling me you're going 53 to 55. That's your testimony under oath, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have to decide what to do about that. Not only do I find that you were speeding, but the trooper didn't write you a ticket for going 20 miles over. He wrote you a ticket for going 1 to 5 over, right? He wrote you the wimpiest speeding ticket he can.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're coming in here and saying a lot of information, very clear, very articulate. You're not in a hurry. You're at 10 and 2. You're listening to an audiobook. You're paying attention to all the speed limits. And you know how fast you were going. You were going 2 miles less than the speed limit, right? And so I have to decide which one of you I think is more correct. I'm about this close to letting him amend that speeding ticket up from 1 to 5. All right?
Mm-hmm.
But I find you responsible on the ticket as it's written. Because you had a contested hearing, you have a right to appeal this decision for formal hearing. To do that, you must ask for that within 7 days of today's date, and you must come in and do that personally because you would need to post a bond in the same amount as the fine. We're all set here. I'm going to release you.
Oh, she got on his nerves. Well, she was going 20 miles over, and here she's trying to play the, oh, I'm such a perfect driver. I wasn't in a hurry. I was going to my sister's house because we have a business together. Like, giving all the I'm so perfect points, right? No. The judge is like, you got a break. You're lucky that you got a break, and you're lucky I don't amend this to undo the officer's generosity.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Anthony Vincent.
Mr. Vincent, this is a felony file 243905FY. I'm going to read it to you.
Good afternoon, Darius here, appearing on behalf of Mr. Vincent for the purpose of arraignment. We've reviewed that felony file we were reading. He is asking the court to set up for probable cause and prelim. He was screened for court-appointed attorney, and that has been granted.
All right, so sir, you will have the public defender as your attorney for the remainder of this matter. You wish to address bond?
Your Honor, we're at this time in speaking with Mr. Vincent. He understands the severity of the charges as well as maximum penalties associated with this. He's asking the court to consider a reduction of bond. He is currently unemployed, and if he was to have any chance at bond, he understands there are likelihoods, conditions attached to pretrial release. So we're just asking the court this time to consider a reduction.
Sir, do you have a bond amount you can make?
No, there's no sense for a reduction. I ain't gonna make any hundreds of thousands.
So we will leave bond in place at this time. You already have next court dates. You have a probable cause conference on October 24th, a preliminary hearing on October 30th. That's in courtroom A in front of Judge Scotchless. You will get copies of those dates and times. You must show up for those dates and times. If you're still incarcerated, corrections will make you available. You're all set, sir.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
There you go. Yep. This is a citation. It was issued on September 19th of this year on Lincoln Road there in Trowbridge Township. It says failure to yield right away involving an accident. Ms. Pruitt, you're here on this citation to do one of three things. First is you could admit responsibility to the citation, or two, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation as to how or why this happened. Or three, you wish to contest this citation. In other words, fight the ticket at what we call informal hearing. What were you looking to do?
Fight it.
All right. Then the first thing I'd ask is both of you to go ahead and raise your right hand so I can swear you in. Ms. Pruitt, it looks like you may have froze on my end. I can't
Okay.
see what you're doing there. Are you raising your right hand?
Yes.
All right. Swear or affirm any testimony you give here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Pruitt, it makes a lot more sense for me to start with the deputy. He has the burden to establish to me why you were issued the citation in the first place. But then after that, you'll have an opportunity to either ask questions or testify in your own behalf.
Okay.
With that, deputy, you want to start somewhere that makes sense, explain the issuing of this citation.
Yes, I'm Deputy Markowitz at Allen County Sheriff's Office. On September 19th at 2:32 p.m., I was dispatched to Lincoln Road and 26th Street for a PD accident. When I arrived on scene, I observed a damaged vehicle in the middle of the intersection and another damaged vehicle on the shoulder of Lincoln Road. Myself and Deputy Meyer investigated the crash and interviewed both parties. The driver of the vehicle that was on Lincoln Road stated that he was westbound on Lincoln when he was struck by another vehicle. And the driver of the vehicle that was going south on 26th Street, she stated that she was stopped at the flashing red light at the intersection, and that there was a vehicle turning right onto 26th Street. And that's when she proceeded into the intersection and struck the other vehicle. She said that she did not see the vehicle that she struck because it was obstructed from view by the truck that was turning right onto 26th Street. I issued her a citation for failure to yield the right of way because Lincoln Road is through traffic. They have the right of way. 26th Street traffic must stop at the blinking red light. and
Okay,
proceed.
so just to clarify, it's a blinking yellow for Lincoln?
It's a blinking yellow for Lincoln.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ms. Pruitt, what is it you'd like to tell me?
Okay, on the police report, he said I was going straight. I was actually turning left on the M89, heading towards Otsego so I can go to Kalamazoo. And I proceeded, I stopped at the blinking red light, made sure it was clear, and I went, and that car was in the turn lane turning right. And he shot out from behind the car from the turn lane and decided to go straight at the last minute.
Okay, ma'am. Here is the issue. That's something different than the deputies telling me. Deputies telling me there's two cars, right? One's turning a right, and then this car that you hit is behind that car.
Yes, he was turning right. He was in a turn lane turning right. And he shot out from behind that car.
Okay, but ma'am, here's the problem. They have the right of way, so you cannot turn onto Lincoln unless it's safe to do so. Having an accident means it wasn't safe to do so. The car you're observing turning right, the car behind him, i.e. the car you hit, could have every intention to have been turning right, but doesn't have to. In other words, they went around the car because the car in front of them is turning right. So they have the right of way. They're on Lincoln.
That car that hit me went and it was on the turn lane, decided not to turn at the last minute. My boyfriend seen everything. He shot out from behind that car and hit us.
Nice twisting of words there. That you know, the victim of the accident hit you. You had the blinking red light. Like you were supposed to be stopped. It doesn't matter. It's unfortunate. I see how it happened. I mean, you assumed that he was going to turn right. But really, are you going to put all of your faith and your vehicle and your, you know, your health and safety? Are you going to put all of that faith into a, you know, $17 light bulb as to whether it's, you know, blinking or not? I mean, you can't rely on that. You have to wait until all the vehicles are through. Otherwise, it's your fault.
Okay, but here's what I'm telling you, ma'am. Here's what I'm telling you. You're waiting to make your left turn, and there are two cars coming down Lincoln. The front car wants to make a right and makes a right, right?
Yes.
The car behind that, you think wants to make a right as well, but ends up going straight and has an accident with you.
Yeah, he was in the turn lane.
Okay, so you would not have been allowed to make your turn until that second car is the lead car and is attempting to turn right. Because before they're the lead car, they're just heading westbound on Lincoln. They have the right of way and you would need to yield to them.
And I did.
Well, no, you didn't, ma'am, because you had an accident with them. So I would find you responsible on this citation as it's written. Now, this is probably what's more important to you is if you disagree with my ruling today, you have a right to go to what's called formal hearing. Formal hearing is in front of the district court judges with the prosecutor's office. It likely involves them subpoenaing these other drivers to testify as well. You have every right to have that sort of hearing. To have that hearing, to continue to go further on this, you got to do two things. One is you must ask for that within 7 days of today's date because your window of opportunity to continue this closes after 7 days. And two, you must come in and post a cash bond in the same amount as the fine to guarantee your appearance at formal hearing. Do you understand your rights on appeal?
Yes.
All right, then we're all set for what we need to do here today. I'm going to go ahead and release parties. All right, gentlemen, this is a citation that was issued on September 16th of this year on 116th Avenue there in Watson Township. This is a speeding citation on an actual 67 and a 55. However, the ticket is only written as a 1 to 5 over. So, Mr. King, you are here on this 1 to 5 over speeding ticket. to do one of three things. First is you could admit responsibility to the citation, or two, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation to court as to how or why this happened. Or three, you wish to contest this citation. In other words, fight the ticket at what we call informal hearing. What were you looking to do?
Option 3.
All right. Then the first thing I'm going to do is swear you both in. You want to go ahead and raise your right hands. Other right hand. Swear or affirm any testimony you give here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. I do.
All right. Mr. King, it makes a lot more sense for me to start with the deputy. He has the burden to establish to me why you were issued a citation in the first place. But after that, you'll have an opportunity to either ask questions or testify on your own behalf. All right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And with that, Deputy, you want to pick up the narrative somewhere where it makes sense, explain the issuing of this citation.
Yes, I apologize. I don't have the ticket right in front of me, but on the above specified date, I was on patrol on 116th Avenue near 19th Street when I observed a gray passenger car traveling on 116th. I activated my front radar units, and his speed came back to 67. I then tracked his speed 67, 67, all the way down to 64, and then down to 62. I then conducted a traffic stop on this vehicle, which was a gray Dodge Charger. I then made contact with the driver of the vehicle who I see in the courtroom today. I made contact with him. I advised him the reason I pulled him over was for speeding. I asked him if he knew how fast he was going. He stated that he was going around 60. I then advised him that I had clocked him a little bit faster than that, around 67. And he stated that he might have been doing that. By the time he actually looked down at his speedometer, he was going about 60. I then issued him a speeding citation for 1 to 5 over.
Okay. Mr. King, what is it you'd like to tell me?
Yeah, so on given date, I was traveling home from work, about, it was like 1 o'clock maybe. And then, yeah, so I'm coming down the road and I was doing about 57 at the time, 58. And there was a truck in front of me that I couldn't even keep up with the whole time, like maybe about 200-300 yards. So maybe, I don't know if he accidentally tracked him. I'm not sure how the radar works, if it pops up my exact like VIN number, car specific detail. But yeah, I mean, I might have been going like 57, 58. I seen him. I went down to 55. I didn't realize I was going a little fast over. Like I said, there was a truck in front of me that was outpacing me the whole time. And then, yeah, so he said he came up to me. And then I noticed that he whipped around. He did a U-turn in the road, no lights on. And then he came up to me doing probably about, I don't know, 90, 95. He was floating because he came up on me quick. And he didn't have no lights on. And then he proceeded to hit his lights once he got behind me and ran my plate number. And then he had me pull over to the road and everything. But
so your tactic in this hearing is to be like, I was only going like 2 miles over the speed limit, Judge, and then I slowed down. But the officer was doing 90 without his lights on to catch up to me. That's your tactic? Let's see how this works.
Okay, so a couple of things. One is your version of events doesn't even match what the officer said. You said you're going 57, 58. The officer says, well, hey, I got him at 67. And then even when I told him that, when I asked you, he said you were going around 60. That you said that.
I told.
So to be clear, even by your own admission, because you only have a ticket for going 55, 56, 57, 58, or 59 or 60 miles an hour because he gave you a break. You already admitted that. But then even by his testimony, what you admitted at time of stop was faster than that. Here's the thing. That officer's not supposed to pop his lights on as soon as he turns around on you. He's supposed to pop his lights when it's obvious that he's pulling you over. And I bet he was going 90 because he has to turn around and catch up to you, right? But I'll have the officer explain a little further just so you understand that front-facing radar, why he thinks that's you and not some other truck, just so you understand that. But I'll let the deputy explain more how that works or why it is he thinks he got you and not somebody else. Deputy, you want to go into that a little?
Yep. So my front activated radar, when I activate it, it hits supposedly the nearest car. And I did observe the truck in front of you, but as soon as the truck even hit my front, I guess front hood, before it passed me, I activated my radar again, and that's where I caught you. So it sends waves to your car, sends them back, and that's where I got your speed as. I know there's a car in front of you, but you can activate your radar in between vehicles, but it will catch the nearest vehicle when I activate that radar.
Did you ever lose sight of Mr. King as you were
I did not.
attempting to decide to pull him over? All right.
I don't know.
So, Mr. King, based upon the citation that you have here, I would find you responsible on this speeding 1 to 5 over. Now, because you had a contested hearing, you do have a right to say, hey, I don't agree with what just happened there. I want to contest this further to what we call formal hearing in front of the district court judges with the prosecutor's office involved. But to do that, you must do 2 things. One is you must ask for that within 7 days of today's date. And 2, you must come in and post a cash bond in the same amount as the fine to guarantee your appearance at that formal hearing. Otherwise, you would accept my judgment on this citation and make arrangements to pay that fines and costs. Do you understand your rights on appeal?
Yes, sir. I have a quick question, if possible. Is there like a training I can do to like get this point knocked off? I know I have a good amount. Like I was wondering if there's something I could schedule with the DMV, maybe like a little training thing.
It's not really DMV. Here's what I think you're talking about. First of all, I'm not going to give you any points. Neither is the deputy. They don't come from court. They come from Secretary of State. So don't look up DMV. Look up Secretary of State for State of Michigan. What you're talking about, I think, is called the Basic Driver Improvement Course. It's a safe driving quiz that you take online. And if you complete it, the Secretary of State will wipe away points from anyone moving violation. Here are the rules for that. You can't be a CDL driver. You're not driving the big rigs, right?
No, sir.
You can't be carrying more than 2 points on your license already. I don't know if you are or not. You would know that. And 3, you can't have taken that course before in the past to get rid of points. They don't let you keep doing it. But provided you meet those 3 criteria, what you're looking for is the Basic Driver Improvement Course. It's a safe driving quiz you take online. But it's through Secretary of State of Michigan. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're all set then. I'm going to go ahead and release you. This is a citation. It was issued on September 6th of this year here on the Kalamazoo River. It is for operating too fast with watercraft. Mr. Basho, you're here on this citation to do one of 3 things. First is you could admit responsibility to the citation. Or 2, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation as to how or why this happened. Or 3, you wish to contest this citation. In other words, fight the ticket at what we call informal hearing. What were you looking to do?
I was looking to contest the ticket at an informal hearing.
All right. Then the first thing I'm going to do is swear you both in. If you could go ahead and raise your right hands. Swear or affirm any testimony you give here today would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. I do.
All right. Mr. Basho, it makes a lot more sense for me to start with the deputy. He has the burden to establish to me why you were issued a citation in the first place. But after that, you'll have the opportunity to either ask questions or testify in your own behalf. All right?
Okay.
And with that, Deputy, you want to pick up the narrative somewhere it makes sense, explain the issuing of this citation?
Yes, Your Honor. I myself and, well, I witnessed the defendant coming down the Kalamazoo River as we were leaving another complaint at Unsalted Boat Works. We observed his boat going more than the slow no wake speed, observed a fairly decent sized wake coming out from behind the boat in a no wake zone. It's posted probably 1/8 of a mile from where he had entered into it and was coming down the Kalamazoo River where it narrows out, and a wake coming out from behind the boat. We got on our boat and proceeded downriver and stopped him and explained to him why we were stopping him, and then issued him the citation for the greater than reasonable speed. He could have been issued one for the misdemeanor slow no wake, but we just gave him the civil infraction instead.
Okay. Mr. Fascio, what is it you'd like to tell me?
So I just wanted to go through the day and explain what happened. So,
Okay, hold on a
so
second.
yep,
You asked to contest the ticket. In other words, you are fighting the citation, telling me you are not speeding.
yep.
If you want to admit and then give an explanation of why you were speeding, that sounds like what you're starting to do. I don't need to know what you did earlier that day. I need to know what happened in this stretch of that river.
Okay. Yep. So we were
All right.
coming down, the river, and I came off pad. I saw where the no wake zone started, and I slowed down to what I thought was a reasonable no wake speed. I'm a tournament fisherman. I go to college in Southwest Michigan, and I've been doing this for years, since middle school, and I've never had a problem. I'm always very careful with no wake zones, and I respect them. And I did not think that I was going fast enough to produce a big enough wake, especially based on the weather that day. It was pretty rough, and I can't see where my wake could have been bigger than what the waves were coming in from the river from the wind. And I also have a video from that day to show how rough it was. It was not a calm day, and I was just trying to go. I was going down the river with the current, and I know how fast I was going. I was going 5.6 miles an hour with the current, and I was very confused when he pulled me over initially. I actually asked the officer. I said, did I accidentally run a no wake zone, because I haven't been to this river before. I'm not from the area, and I was just trying this new fishery with my friend because I heard the fishing was good up in Kalamazoo. So we were just trying it out, and I asked the officer, I was like, did I accidentally run a no wake zone? And he told me, no, you were just idling too fast. And I was very confused. And
Yeah, I'm very confused too, because you said you're not going fast enough to produce a wake, and yet the first thing you're telling me you asked the officer is, did I accidentally go too fast in a no wake zone?
no, what I asked the officer was, did I run a no wake zone further up the river? That's what I initially thought. And he told me, no, it was, you were idling too fast. You didn't miss a no wake buoy. I was asking if I
Okay.
missed a no wake buoy.
But here's the question, right? Because you said a lot of things like you didn't think you're going fast enough. While you're in the no wake zone, were you producing a wake?
I don't believe so.
All right. And deputy, while he was in a no wake zone, was he producing a wake that you observed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that in fact what you pulled him over for?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you felt like you could have wrote him the misdemeanor for violating no wake zone,
Absolutely, Your Honor.
but you used your discretion to just give him a ticket.
Yes, sir. We explained to him that it's not based on a mile per hour speed. It's based on the size of the wave coming out from behind the boat. And we observed the wave, not the speed. It was also in a part where the river starts to narrow down, and we get complaints constantly about no wake speed. It wasn't the greatest day, but the wind wasn't affecting the river that much where there's waves on the river. His boat definitely had a larger wake that needed to be addressed.
The problem is, Mr. Fascio, you're telling me you shouldn't even get the ticket. The deputy's telling me you could have got the crime. He just gave you a break, gave you the ticket, all right?
Yep.
All right. Well, based upon the evidence that I've heard here today, I would find you responsible on this citation for producing a wake and a no wake isn't even what you have a ticket for. You just have a ticket for going faster than what is considered to be reasonable speed. But any speed that produces a misdemeanor in a no wake would be prima facie evidence that's too fast for those conditions. Now, because you had a contested hearing, I want to make sure you understand you have a right to say, I don't agree with what just happened there. I want to take this to the next county hearing, which is a formal hearing in front of the district court judges with the prosecutor's office. But to do that, you must do two things. One is you must ask for that within 7 days of today's date. Your window of opportunity to contest this further closes. And secondly, you must come in because you would have to post a cash bond in the same amount as this fine to guarantee your appearance at formal hearing. Do you understand your rights on appeal?
Yep.
All right. Then we're all set for what we need to do here, gentlemen. Thank you. Go ahead and release parties. All right, Mr. Hatter, you are here on a show cause, meaning this is a case that is over with. We just have not completed out the sentence portion of it. And so you have to come back in front of us to address where we're at with that. On this, you still owe money, $1,254, and we have not received verification that you completed the victim impact panel. You were supposed to do that and then show a receipt you went to it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
So it is easy for me to give you more time to do that if you know how to get it done.
Okay. So, I don't know if your records will show, but I have completed the victim impact panel when the case originally came about. But I paid the money, I watched the video, then they quizzed me on what the video was about, and then I got an email saying, "Oh, congratulations," and all of this. I'm like, all right, I thought I was done. So I was done with that. In my mind, I thought I was done with that. Then
That's fine. We need the proof. We need that email.
Right. So when you guys got back with me and said, "Hey, we didn't get the proof," right? I say, okay. I try to log in the time after I completed it to the time you got back with me. I broke my phone and I got a new phone, and I did not have access to the email. I didn't have access to that same email. So I asked, would you guys be able to get with the victim impact Mothers Against Drunk Driving?
No, sir.
If this guy didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all.
Because I tried
you
to
can't
I
contact them and you're the only person they will release that to. So you need to do one of two things. You need to convince them to give you a duplicate copy of it, or you just have to do the victim impact panel over again. But you need to do one of those two things and start making payments on the money that you owe. But what I'll do for today is just kick this down the road for another 90 days, give you some time to take care of that. If you don't know how to do the victim impact panel or get in touch with them, you should call district court probation and they'll give you that information over again.
Do you have district court probation number? I'm gonna try to
write it down.
1 second. Grab an ink pen. Okay, I have the pen.
All right, 269.
Okay. Okay, 269.
Yep, that's it. So we'll go ahead and let you go, give you another 90 days. If you get all that stuff done, you won't even have to come back in 90 days. We just got to make some progress on it, all right?
Okay, what kind of, is this the same number to call for the payment plan too?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know how to hang this up.
It's all right, we'll take care of it.
Bingo.
Sure.
Good afternoon, your name?
Jake Carolyn.
Okay. So this is a show cause. In other words, this is an old file. It's from 2016. You're up for show cause for two things. First of all, we do want to get a better address for you. What is your address?
Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Kalamazoo. Is that still 49048?
49007.
49047. All right. So that was first things first. Secondly, on this, it's because you're here on the show cause. These are generally because you hadn't made a payment in a while and you have restitution on this file. The good news is the restitution is $1.66. If there were no restitution, the court wouldn't necessarily make you come in and answer to it at all. So what I'm going to do is let you out of jail. All right. There are lots of people who wish that's how much money they owed court. All right. So you're going to get out of jail, but what you need to do is contact the court, pay that off, and then everyone's going to leave you alone. I have to set this out for 90 days to see what you did on it. If you take care of it, then you'll just sort of be done. If you don't take care of it, we'll talk again in a couple of months, but you're done with jail.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, Kelly, you're
Can you imagine being jailed on $1.66? Like, I feel bad when I've got to put a buck or two on my debit card. Being jailed over that amount? Oh man, the shame.
Good afternoon, your name?
Hello.
What's your name?
Leanne Kelly.
Ms. Kelly. Ms. Kelly, it's a felony file 242242FY. I'm gonna go ahead and read this to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's Chad Catalino on behalf of Ms. Kelly. Did have an opportunity to talk to her prior to coming on the record, waive reading of the felony complaint. Asked the court to set this for a probable cause and preliminary examination. She does qualify for an attorney. I'll get that paperwork over to the court right after this hearing. And then she understands that she missed a hearing, or that it's alleged that she missed a hearing and that the court's not likely to do a whole lot with that. I just asked the court to consider maybe reducing that. Maybe it's at 25,000. Like if the court would consider reducing that to 10,000, as she's a caretaker for her aunt and does need to be to try to attempt to get out.
Yeah, I would say that generally I do these as 50, and then maybe you'd be talking about getting it to 25. The problem is what you missed was your sentencing. So I wouldn't lower that without a chance for the prosecutors to weigh in. So you already have this next date, 10/17 for probable cause conference. You'd be able to argue bond at that time too, but on absconding, I'm going to leave it at $25,000 cash surety for now. You already have a probable cause, a preliminary hearing date as well, October 23rd. That's courtroom A in front of Judge Scotches. You will get copies of those dates and times. You must show up for those dates and times, but you're all set for tonight.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Miss Kelly, I'll send an attorney over to talk to you post haste, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, gentlemen, we are here on this citation. It was issued on August 23rd of this year on 129th Avenue there in Wayland Township. So disregard of a traffic signal. You are here on this citation, Mr. Washington, to do one of three things. First is you could admit responsibility to the citation, or two, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation as to how or why this happened. Or three, you wish to contest this citation. In other words, fight the ticket at what we call informal hearing. What were you looking to do?
Hear me, Your Honor?
What's that?
Are you able, so you're able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to fight the ticket with explanation as to what went on.
All right. Then the first thing I'm going to do is swear you both in. You want to go ahead and raise your right hands. Mr. Washington, I'm swearing you in as well. Mr. Washington.
It's
yes.
very hard to hear you, Your Honor. It's like very, very choppy.
Okay, I don't know if that's maybe the audio on your end. Everything looks fine on my end. Swear or affirm any testimony you give here today would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Washington, it makes a lot more sense for me to start with the officer. He has the burden to establish to me why you were issued a citation in the first place. But after he is done testifying, you would have the opportunity to either ask questions or testify on your own behalf. And with that, officer, you want to pick up the narrative somewhere where it makes sense, explain the issuing of this citation.
Sure. I was ramping off of the southbound 131 at the 129th exit. There is a traffic light there. The vehicle in front of me was headed to turn left, and it went through the red light in front of my patrol car. I initiated a traffic stop and told him why I was stopping him. He didn't deny going through the red signal, but told me that he thought I would have rear-ended him if he did not continue through the light. I told him we had both had plenty of time to stop. I actually reviewed my camera afterwards, and there was approximately 3 to 4 car lengths between the two of us. So I issued him a citation for disregarding the traffic signal.
Okay. And sir, what is it you wish to tell me?
So Your Honor, when approaching said light, when I looked at my rear view, I literally, not only me, but everyone in the car said, "Why is this car tailing so close to you?" With that being said, knowing that there's a law enforcement officer behind me, it would make no sense for me to blatantly go right through a light when there's a behind me. I can understand if that cop was off to my right or my left, and it was like, "Oh, I'm just going to try to do this to see if I can get away with it." The options presented in front of me were literally either go through this light or stop and be rear-ended. When the officer explained that he did not feel as if he was tailgating me, I wasn't going to argue with him. I don't argue with law enforcement if this is what they say they're going to do. That's why we have a justice system in hand to actually go through the motions such as what we're doing today. When in front of me and that officer, or when that officer was behind me, I would have never blatantly gone right through a light knowing there's a cop literally right behind me. Before that even happened, as I said, myself and the two parties in the car with me literally said, "Why is this car tailing you so hard right now?" I said, I had no problem paying the ticket. I didn't want the points because of what actually happened with the actual, when I felt that I was being tailed.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, it's 9:30 at night.
Correct. Yes.
So you're just seeing headlights behind you, right?
Well, headlights that are bright enough to be actually like blinding. It's not so much as just saying, "Oh, if there's a car behind you, oh, you can tell this is kind of far behind you." No, this car was blatantly right up on my tail. And it wasn't to the point to where, for example, say, "Oh, I can just tell it's just headlights."
Mr. Washington, my point being, how would you know it was a police officer?
Because you can see the actual lights on the top of the actual car. You can still see with the headlights themselves. When those are in your rear view, you can see the brush guards got on the front of a cop car.
Well, but the problem here is you're not saying you didn't proceed through a red light. What you're doing is saying you had a reason why you proceeded through a red light.
Because in order to, if I had stopped, it would have caused it. I felt that I would have literally been rear-ended. So it was, in a way, with all due respect to the officer and you in your courtroom, it seemed as if it was like, okay, you're either gonna slam on your brakes and I'm giving you the ticket for that, or you're going through this red light.
All right. So here's what, and I just want to be clear what you're saying. Are you saying your car and the officer's car are both moving towards the red light and that he was just essentially following too close? Or are you saying you're sitting stopped and it looked like this car is going to come up and ram you from behind, and so then you proceeded and went through the light?
No, I didn't go through it that way. It seemed as if
both moving.
The officer, yes, Your Honor.
All right. But officer, you said that you considered yourself to be 3 to 4 car lengths behind this vehicle?
Correct. I reviewed my body camera to ensure it.
All right. Well, essentially, that's not following too close. Following too close is, I would say, within less than 2 car lengths behind you. So, given the testimony I have here today, I would find the officers met their burden on the disregarded traffic control device in that you went through on a red. Now, sir, because I'm going to, well, I do already have the next people here, so I'm going to do this fast. 2 things, Mr. Washington. One is, you do have a right, because you had a contested hearing, you have a right to say, I don't agree with what just happened there. I want to go to what's called formal hearing. Formal hearing is in front of the district court judges with the prosecutor's office. But for you to continue this matter to formal hearing, you must do 2 things. First is, you must ask for that within 7 days of today's date. Your window of opportunity to contest this further closes after 7 days. And 2, you must come in and ask for that because you have to post a cash bond in the same amount as the fine to guarantee your appearance at formal hearing. So first thing is, do you understand your rights on appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So second thing is, you mentioned something about you didn't want the points on this violation. To be clear with you, the court's not going to give you points. The officer didn't give you points. Points don't come from us. The only punishment you have on this citation is fines and costs. Now, the Secretary of State and the court, 2 different animals. Secretary of State's going to give you 3 points for this violation. So here's what I'll tell you about points. 2 things. First of all, they die a natural death every 2 years, so you can just sort of outweigh your points. But more specifically, there is a way for you to get rid of those points. In other words, to make this a 0-point ticket. But I can't do it for you. All I can do is explain to you how to do it for yourself. Are you interested in that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So on the Secretary of State's website for state of Michigan, they have something called the Basic Driver Improvement Course. It's a safe driving quiz that you take online. I don't think it's very difficult. It just takes up some of your time. Here are the rules, though. 3 rules on it. One is you can't be a CDL driver. You're not driving the big rigs, right?
No, Your Honor.
2, you can't be carrying more than 2 points on your license already before this. I don't know that. You would know that better than I would. And 3, you couldn't have taken this course to get rid of points before in the past. They don't let you sort of keep using this trick. But provided you meet those 3 criteria, you could go on that website, the Secretary of State's website right now, knock out that basic driver improvement course. The carrot they give you for that, they'll remove the points from any one moving violation, which is what this is. So essentially, there's a mechanism for you making this be a 0-point ticket. I just can't do it for you. You got to do it for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Then we are all set for what we needed to do here today, gentlemen. I'm going to let you go. All right. Ms. Lopez, you want to take yourself off mute so I'd be able to hear your responses? Little microphone slash to it. There you go.
Can you
This
hear
is
me?
a citation. Yes, I can. This is a citation that was issued on August 29th of this year on 128th there in Heath Township. This was a speeding citation on an actual, looks like 69 and a 55. However, Ms. Lopez, you were not written for that speed. You were only written for a 1 to 5 over, but you're here on this 1 to 5 over speeding ticket to do one of 3 things. First is you could admit responsibility to the citation, or 2, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation as to how or why this happened. Or 3, you wish to contest this citation. In other words, fight the ticket at what we call informal hearing. What is it you were looking to do?
Potentially the second option that you had mentioned.
All right. And what is it you'd like to tell me?
This day in particular had been a very stressful day for me and my fiance and my nephew, who was also in the car at the time of this event. There's just been a lot of stuff outside of home going on, and I was pretty distracted at the moment. I do not believe that I was going the detected speed of 69 miles per hour on this specific road. I do believe that this speed was probably 60, 62 miles per hour. I do not feel that the severity of my crime was necessary for the officer to then break several laws to give me this ticket. Your officer had to come to a complete stop in the middle of the road, make an illegal U-turn, back up in the middle of the road, and then speed to come and issue me this ticket. And then now I therefore have to pay this ticket and have points on my license, which is just adding more to this insanely crazy couple of months that I've had in my life. And I do not believe that this is what the punishment should be for me, honestly.
In other words, it's just not fair.
Okay. Well, the punishment is statutory, ma'am. So the fines and costs are by statute. Those don't really go up or down at the discretion of the judge. And the points do not come from the court. I have no control over your points. That's between you and the Secretary of State. All right. The only punishment the court has is that fines and costs. So the only thing you would have to do as far as court is concerned after this hearing is make arrangements to pay that $100 fines and costs. Points you have to take up between you and the Secretary of State. Does that make sense?
So does it automatically give you a point when you get a ticket?
Yes, but the Secretary of State does that, not the court and not the officer. But I have no control over what they do.
So like when you like get your name like ran, like for example, like when the officer got behind me and ran my plates, like doesn't that automatically happen though? Like when you get issued a ticket and when like you can look it up on the computer, seeing it there, like when you pull somebody over, correct?
I don't know what you're talking about, man, but you would not get points until you get a conviction on a civil infraction, not when they're pulling you over.
Oh, I thought like you, as soon as you get pulled over and get issued a ticket, that automatically gets added to your license.
No, the truth is it happens every time they run your tag. So when you're stopped at a stoplight and there's a cop behind you and he runs your tag, boom, points. You're going down the road and they think that you're speeding, boom, points. Come on. No, you got to actually be convicted of a crime in order to have a punishment, and points are a punishment. Jeez Louise.
No, ma'am. Once you get the conviction for the citation.
Oh, okay.
All right. But we're all set for what we need to do here today. You just need to make arrangements to pay that fines and costs to the court when we're done.
Okay. So that means I'm accepting the guilt. There's no further.
Yes, ma'am. You chose to admit responsibility with explanation. Even by your own admission, I have to decide whether you're going 56, 57, 58, 59, or 60 miles an hour. By your own admission, you're going at least that fast, right?
I mean, to be fair, I did not look at the detected speed at the time of it. If we could issue, like, if we were able to issue that radar, and for sure, I feel like that would be more fair because it's just basically word against my memory from 2 months ago.
Well, yes, ma'am. So your testimony is you don't know how fast you're going. And if I took testimony from the deputy, in other words, if we actually had a contested hearing, he would have to testify, but he very well could testify you're going 69 and a 55, which is a lot worse ticket. He used his discretion on the side of the road to give you the wimpiest speeding ticket he could give you.
Right.
But if you wish to have hearing, we can have a hearing. But that's not what you said. What you said is you wanted to admit responsibility and provide explanation.
Right.
And then as part of your explanation, you admitted to speeding at least as fast as your ticket. So I'm not sure what else I would do during a hearing other than find you responsible.
Okay.
But I want to make sure you understand what's happening, all right?
I do understand.
All right. And we're all set for what we need to do here today. I'm going to go ahead and release you.
Okay.
Calling into court on the Samsung device. Please take yourself off mute. There you go. What's your name?
Catherine Birch.
All right. You are in the right place. Go ahead and get started. This is a citation that was issued on August 28th of this year on 30th there in Monterey Township. This is a speeding citation on an actual 67 and a 55. However, the ticket was only written as a 1 to 5 over speeder. So, Ms. Birch, you are here on this 1 to 5 over speeder to do one of three things. First is you could admit responsibility to the citation, or two, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation to court as to how or why this happened. Or three, you wish to contest this citation. In other words, fight the ticket at what we call informal hearing. What were you looking to do?
Contest it.
All right. Then the first thing I'm going to do is swear you both in. You want to go ahead and raise your right hands. You swear or affirm any testimony you give here today would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Ma'am, it makes a lot more sense for me to start with the deputy. He has the burden to establish to me why you were issued a citation in the first place. But after that, you'll have an opportunity to either ask questions or testify in your own behalf. All right?
Okay.
And with that, deputy, you want to pick up the narrative somewhere where it makes sense, explain the issuing of this citation.
Yep. On 8/28 of 2024, approximately 19:39 hours, I was traveling northbound on 30th Street near 130th Avenue when I observed a white vehicle coming southbound on 30th Street. I did notice a car in front of her, and the driver of the car I pulled over is in the courtroom today. I activated my front rear radar for the car in front of her, and I got a 60-mile-an-hour reading. And then she passed me, and then I activated my radar for this vehicle I pulled over to that Catherine was driving. I came back to a speed of 66 mile an hour and then up to 67 mile an hour. The vehicle, Catherine then did pass me, and I activated my rear radar. I came back to a 67 mile an hour reading. I then pulled the vehicle over and made contact with Catherine, who was the driver of this white passenger car, and she told me that the vehicle in front of her was going a lot faster than her. I advised her I activated my radar, and it came back to a 60-mile-an-hour reading for the car in front of her. When I did activate my radar for her, I came back to a 66, 67-mile-an-hour reading. I then used my discretion and only gave her a 1 to 5 over speeding ticket.
Okay. Ms. Birch, what is it you'd like to tell me?
I was coming from Hopkins, so I turned on 128th to go south, so I wasn't at 138th on this day. He pulled me over he pulled me over at 125th and 30th at the South Monterey store there. I actually pulled off to the side into the parking lot because he had whipped around when I was coming down Poplar Hill, and I thought he was going after the car in front of me who was speeding and had just passed me on the hill on Poplar.
Hey, ma'am, that's not the testimony. The other street that he's mentioning is just to give a sense of where on 30th he is when he's talking about. What he's telling you is you're traveling southbound on 30th when he hit you with the radar.
I was coming southbound on 30th and 125th, which is 2.5 miles south of where this ticket says that it is.
Okay, but ma'am, you just heard his testimony. That's what I'm going by.
Yeah, his testimony said that it was 130th as well, but I had just dropped my daughter off in Hopkins, and that's 128. So that's a whole mile south. When I turned to go south on 30th, I wasn't even in this intersection, 30th and 130th.
Okay. And ma'am, I'll go back with the deputy, but even you understand the deputy's going the opposite direction. So if he decides he wants to pull you over, he has to slow down, stop, pull a U-turn, then proceed southbound, and then catch up to you. You realize that would take a while, right?
No, I understand that, but I watched him flip around at 125th. We were never at 130th I was never at 130th. So he wasn't at 130th, or at least I wouldn't assume so. I thought he had gotten the car in front of me because I was coming down Poplar Hill. I didn't,
Okay.
I pulled over.
Ma'am, do you have any testimony as to what your speed was?
At the very most, it was 58 or 60. At the very most, I was coming out of Poplar Hill corners there. I drive that
Do you
road every
realize
day.
you have a ticket for going 55, 56, 57, 58, 59? Your ticket is only for 1 to 5 over, right?
Okay.
Which is what you just told me you were doing.
At the very most, I was coming down the hill from Poplar, but what I don't understand is he flipped around, saw me, spun around, and I got out of the way because there was emergency flashers, and the car in front of me pulled over thinking that he was going to get the ticket, and he pulled in behind me, and I don't think that it was accurate.
All right. So what I'm going to do is go back with the deputy, and we're going to talk about where it happened and why he thinks it's you that he wanted to give the ticket and not the other car that pulled over. All right. Deputy, you want to clarify for her, but she has concerns about, where it happened and why you're giving her a ticket instead of the other car.
Yep. 130th. By the time I turned around, I didn't see where she came out of. So she might have come out of 128th. The fact that I was going northbound on 30th, I did pull her over in the Dumont store there, and I did activate my radar up on the hill. I'm not sure what the name of the hill is, but that she used, but I did activate my radar there, and then that's when they came back to 67 mile an hour. And that's when I flipped around on her and pulled her over and gave her that speeding citation.
And then my question to you, just to clarify, is so your front-facing radar, you said you hit her with, but with that one, you also hit another car that was in front of her?
It might have picked up the car in front of her as well. That's why I activated my rear radar when I got past her and I picked up her vehicle.
And that's what I want to clarify for her. But at the time that you're using rear-facing radar, she would have been the closest car to you.
Correct.
And that one you had a reading for 67 as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am. Does that clear anything up for you? In other words, when that car's in front of you, right, his front-facing
Yeah.
radar will hit the nearest car. And he said it did hit that car, but he didn't have a speeding violation on that car. And then the front-facing radar hit your car, he had a speeding violation at 67. But after you passed him up, he also turned on rear-facing radar where you would have been lead car, not the other vehicle, and also got a 67. So he made the determination that pulled you over by turning around, catching up to you. So it may have taken a while to catch you up, but he is firm in his testimony that it is you and not the other car that he's seeking to pull over.
He turned around. I saw him coming northbound at 125th. He turned around immediately, like in the first driveway at 125th. So, and by then the car in front of me had almost slammed his brakes on because I slowed down because he had his brakes on. So I don't believe he was at 100 and if he didn't catch me at, or if he says it's 130th, I turned southbound at 128. So he was already a mile farther northbound. So I'm confused because it doesn't make sense to me what this ticket's saying versus what happened.
Okay, but ma'am, you and him are giving me two different versions of events, but I am not finding any problems with what he is explaining to me because it fits what he's saying. What you're saying doesn't fit what you're saying.
What do you mean?
Well, ma'am, he is not, you're saying this happened at a different place than he's saying, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really even need to get into that because before we even need to get into that, when we're just talking about speeds, your testimony about speeds doesn't fit the evidence that he has presented. That the car in front of you, he did not have is going faster than you. And they had you at 67 miles an hour based off his front-facing and rear-facing radar. And that even by your own testimony, you were in fact speeding at least as fast as this citation. I have to decide, here's what I have to decide, ma'am. Were you traveling 1 to 5 miles over the speed limit? That's all I have to decide on this ticket because that's the only ticket you're faced with. And the evidence before me is, his evidence is you're traveling even faster than that. And your evidence is you were traveling that fast. So as of right now, I have no evidence in front of me where I could possibly decide that you were not in violation of the ticket you were written. Right?
I was not speeding at the intersection in which this ticket was written.
And ma'am, that is not that. In other words, that's for him to essentially, you're speeding on 30th is the only thing that's important. What that cross street is just a reference for the officer by the time he testified. In no way, shape, or form did he testify you were ever on 130th. His testimony is you're traveling southbound on 30th, he's traveling northbound on 30th when he saw you and hit you with radar. You both are in agreement with that. So I would find you responsible on this citation as it's written. Now, ma'am, because you had a contested hearing, I want to make sure you're clear on this. You do have the right to say, I don't agree with what just happened there. I want to contest this further to what we call formal hearing. That's in front of the district court judges with the prosecutor's office. But in order to do that and contest this further, you must do two things. First is you must ask for that within 7 days of today's date. Your ability to contest this further after 7 days stops. And second, you must come in and ask for that in person because you would have to post a cash bond and the same amount as the fine to guarantee your appearance at formal hearing. Do you understand your rights on appeal?
Yes.
All right. So we're all set here. I'm going to go ahead and release parties. Thank you.
Why is it so hard for people to understand that by the time the officer puts their lights on to pull you over, the actual violation has come and gone probably several miles in the past? It's not like the violation happens and they instantly turn the lights on. There's a lot of work that they have to do prior to being able to do that. And that's just something that people cannot comprehend.
I'll pop you back over in the waiting room. You have one more and I'll see them here yet. All right, in jail there, your name, please.
Trudy Marie Coon.
Ms. Kuhn, this is felony file 242140FY. I'm going to read it to you.
Ms. Strasser, on behalf of Ms. Kuhn, for the purpose of arraignment, we have reviewed the charging document and waive a form of reading. We did conduct a screen for indigency and found she does qualify, so she will be having a court-appointed attorney. We request this matter be set for probable cause and preliminary exam.
Okay, so ma'am, you do have the public defender as your attorney in this matter. You wish to argue for bond?
Yes, Ms. Kuhn was previously bonded on the same charge. It looks like they amended the complaint and then reissued these charges. Before the original one, I did represent her. She had no issues attending court. She takes care of herself and her mother, who is in the hospital right now, which has been, throughout this court case in the past, one of her other priorities on top of, and with that, she still was able to attend all of her court dates. So we ask that be taken in consideration and a PR bond be granted again. Thank you.
Okay, but ma'am, you're already now on bond, out on bond for a felony meth that occurred in February, right? So you caught
Yes,
this
sir,
while
but-
you were on bond on already?
Yes, sir.
All right.
But,
So it's gonna be, ma'am, your bond's gonna be $2,000 cash or surety, no drugs, no alcohol, no marijuana.
I know that, please, honor, I don't have no money,
Ma'am,
nobody has any money.
you picked up a new felony while you're out
I
on
know,
bond
I
for a
know,
pending felony.
I know, but my
and
mom's
there's
in the
different
hospital.
kinds of felonies, so we're all set. You already have
Please,
next
honor,
court dates.
you, please, I beg you.
You have
I beg
a
you, honor,
probable
please.
cause
Can I
conference
get a,
on May
can I,
30th. You have a preliminary
can I
hearing on
please get a
June
PR
5th.
bond?
That's in courtroom A in front of Judge
Your honor,
Scott.
please.
Ma'am, you shouldn't even have gotten a PR bond on your first
I
one.
didn't mean to. I thought it was taken care of because on Monday I thought it was taken care of. I didn't know. I didn't know. Please, Your Honor, I
Ma'am,
did not know.
Are you on probation from your felony in 2021?
No, I'm not on probation yet. No, I'm not on probation. I ain't even finished with that court yet. I don't go to the court for that until July 3rd. Please, I beg you, Your Honor, I need to get out so I can get the house straightened up
You're all
before my
set.
mom comes home.
We're done.
Please, nobody has, Your Honor. Please, can I, please, beg you.
Ma'am,
You
your
don't-
bond
nobody
should
has
be
no way
higher
to
than I
help
just
me.
said it. If you keep talking, I'm gonna set your bond higher. 2,000 cash surety when you're already out on a felony bond where we gave you a chance to behave and you picked up a new felony. That
But
is
I
no
didn't
way
know it was a
in shape or
felony.
form
I
a
didn't
PR
know.
bond. You're all
I
set.
didn't know it was a felony.
Like that matters. It's a crime, and whatever it is, you shouldn't have done it.
Okay, please come over here so the next person can go.
You know it's a felony. I pretend it's a felony.
Good afternoon, your name?
James G.
It means that you're not gonna get out, let's somebody, buddy, right?
Okay, looks like you have two files here, a misdemeanor and a felony. We'll do the felony first, 241385FY. I'm gonna read it to you.
Strasser, on behalf of Mr. Gee, for the purpose of arraignment, we have reviewed the charging document and waive a formal reading. We did conduct a screen for indigency and found he does qualify, so he will be receiving a court-appointed attorney. We request this matter be set for probable cause and preliminary exam.
All right, so sir, you do have the public defender as your attorney in this matter for the remainder of this case. You wish to argue bond?
Yes, we would ask for a reduction in bond at this point. He does have the two other driving matters, and he does have approximately $100 he could post for the 3 different cases to be able to bond out and aid in his defense. So I ask that be taken into consideration when addressing bond. Thank you.
I will work with that, sir. You would not get a PR bond on this because you're habitual offender fourth, but we'll leave this at $1,000 cash surety. What that means is you would need to post 10% or $100. On the misdemeanors, I give you PR bonds if that's what you want. So the only bond you have to make is this bond. All right, does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. You already have next court dates. You have probable cause conference, May 30th. You have a preliminary hearing, June 5th. That's in courtroom A in front of Judge Scotchless. You will get copies of those dates and times. You must show up for those dates and times. On these other matters, these traffic matters, you have, looks like a unlawful use and a driving while license suspended. So just to be clear, I would do one of two things. If you're sitting in jail and you have PR bonds, you do not get credit for time served. I would set a low cash surety on these if you didn't think you're going to get out, so that you'll get credit for time served. Or I would set both of these at PRs, so you only have the one bond before you can get out. Which would you prefer?
Can you repeat that one more time?
All right, so right now, you have one bond you have to make, $1,000 cash surety. So you have to post $100 and work the rest out with a bondsman. All right. You have two more cases. They're both misdemeanors. I can set those for PR bonds, which means you don't even have to post money on those. You're not even in jail on those, and you just have the one bond. But if you have PR bonds, you're not getting credit for time served. So if you're going to sit in jail anyway, I could set these at low cash surety bonds, and then you would get time served even on the misdemeanors for any days you're sitting in jail. The long and short of it is, if you think you're going to be able to post bond, you probably want PRs. If you don't think you're going to be able to post bond, you probably want low cash sureties. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. PRs probably.
All right. So it'd be $300 PRs on each of these traffic misdemeanors. Don't drive without a valid driver's license. You will get a next court date on these that is separate from your felony case, because they are misdemeanors, but you are no longer in jail on these misdemeanor cases. You're only in jail on your one-year felony. You're all set.
Thank you, sir.
No, Mr. Harwood today?
You're
No,
actually-
I'm sorry. We were gonna try to do it from his jail cell on my phone.
Yeah, because otherwise tomorrow's the last day, and then he'd be sitting all weekend, so I just assumed we probably should just arraign him whether he is cooperative or not.
Okay. All right, so I'll zoom in with my phone when I get down there.
All right, so he'll call us back.
All right, you guys. What a night. That was fun. Oh, just had to end with that wild one there. Yeah, she was something. Well, got to keep you guys entertained. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I know I definitely did. Oh, hi, Bandit. Hi, baby girl. Oh, hi, Ava. My goodness, you jealous thing. Thank you for coming, Lisette Panette, honey. It was so good to see you. I don't know if Bandit agreed or grunted. Oh, I was thinking about doing the train ride with Ava today, but it was really hot and muggy, and then when I messaged the girl about times for tomorrow, because it's kind of like an open ticket. I just show up when the manager that invited Ava is working. So I messaged her to ask her what time the train runs tomorrow, and her schedule got switched until next week. So I'm like, you know what? It's okay, because it's been an emotional week. I have not done cat boxes for days. I got to take garbage out, and yeah, I got to get to Baraboo and do the lawn still. That's like, it hasn't been a couple weeks since that's been done, because it's been raining. And every time it's not raining, it's 94 degrees and so humid, I can't even breathe outside. Jimmy James, hello. Haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you, sweetie. So yeah, I don't know tomorrow if I'm able to go to Baraboo. Then I won't be streaming tomorrow night. So just keep an eye out for the notice, for the Discord notice. And hopefully I can make it back and make it on. But doing that lawn. I mean, you saw how big that lawn was. It's a big lawn with the push mower, because I can't use the rider because it's too much pressure on my spine injury, and I have to use the push mower because it's like using a walker, but I can only do it in very small sections because I can't stand for too long. So it just ends up taking me forever. And I bought this really cool 6-inch chainsaw. I'm so excited. I can't wait to use it. It's just this long, but it's so cool. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to use it, but it'll allow me to just get all of that brush cut down in one fell swoop. I'm just so excited about it. And yes, I even got the chainsaw blade oil. I did. So I'm excited. I do. I don't know. Do those exist? Do those exist? Well, actually, I need a lean on one because when I'm standing, I'm always leaning because I have to take the pressure off of my spine by putting it onto my upper body. That's why my elbows are like this, is because I'm constantly leaning on things. Yeah, it's not fun. Not fun at all. This one's not nearly as bad because my right arm is always on the bottom, but this arm's the one that has the scars from the accident itself. So, I mean, it all balances out, right? Rub again, of course. The first time that I went to mow it, I posted a short that day of a couple of shorts, like ASMR kind of shorts, because the grass was 2.5 feet tall. I'm not even kidding you. It was so high. I didn't even know if I was cutting through it, ripping it out, but when I finished mowing it, the next week when I went back, everywhere that I had mowed was just brown. It didn't regrow right away. I mean, I don't know if the grass, if it was just because it had never seen sunlight in that spot or what the deal was, but everywhere that I had taken down all of the super, super high grasses, it didn't have any green to it. Justopia is Eileen E. Carlin's, that's the fantasy land with all of our money denominations. Oh, you can't tell I need my meds, can you? I'm so sore. My brain is kicked off. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if I'm going to go through the trouble of renting a mower, I might as well just hire someone to do the lawn. I don't know. I don't know how it would be probably a couple $100 to do that yard though. I don't even want to ask around, especially not since my oven went out. My stove and my oven, my entire oven stove unit. The burners, when I even on setting 2, like, water boils almost instantly. They're so hot. And the oven, we've used the oven 3 times this week, and it's burned everything. Stuff that we've very often cooked, and we know the temperature for it, and it's burning everything. So I need to get a new stove, oven, range, and I'm not looking forward to it. Oh well, All right, guys. Thank you all for coming out and hanging out with me. You guys truly make my life better. You really do. Electric. And I do have, I'm pretty sure, no, I might have, I know how to switch the plugs out because I had to switch the plug out when I got this one. But I got it used. But it's lasted me 5 years. I think, a free stove for 5 years is pretty darn good deal. So I'm not complaining that it's going out. I'm complaining because it sucks for the timing. But I'm grateful it's lasted me this long. Because when I moved into the house, the stove that I had no functioning burners. They all had something wrong with them. And the oven door wouldn't close all the way. So I made this giant, like, celebratory batch of banana bread, and every loaf failed because the oven door, the seal didn't seal, so the temperature wasn't right. So yeah, that was heart-wrenching. I don't know anything about it, honey. If you're close to Wisconsin, come on over. I love you, Mama. I'm so glad you got to join us. I really have missed you. Okay, guys. I'm going to go take my meds and try to get some sleep. Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.